I'm Sharon Williams, founder and CEO of Taurus, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to Taurus TV, the channel that tells the story of our Taurus network. I'm delighted to have with me Australian journalist Amber Sherlock. Welcome, Amber.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you so much for having me on Taurus TV today. And hello to you. I'm sure we all know the importance of learning. Our very survival and our happiness are dependent upon us learning. Learning the skills to communicate, to eat, and to keep warm and safe. Learning is so essential that we rarely think about it. We just learn to do it. But education, the process of helping someone to learn, makes it easier. We've all gained an education in a classroom at some stage, but my guest today has been embracing new technologies that can help us be more efficient at learning. She is the Executive Director of Kineo and is passionate about people, education and learning. It is great to welcome to the program Vicky Bartolacci. Thank you so much for joining us today, Vicky. Firstly, I'm going to ask you, people, education and learning. What is the relationship between these?
So thank you, Amber, for having me today, and Sharon. In relation to the way that you described learning before, it was absolutely perfect and resonates with what I believe as well. In addition, or the most simple way when we're talking about learning is to say that we're always learning. It's constant. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about preschool, schooling age, or when we're learning as adults in a corporate environment. But I feel that there's a little bit more to it. So when we're talking about learning, it's about our self-esteem. It allows us to build resilience. It allows us to develop competencies. Really, in today's world, and when we're talking about employers and their responsibility, they really should be seen as an educator. A lot of people, it's cited to say that they will change jobs or they're considering changing employment because they're not developing enough or not getting the opportunities to learn. So we really do see a change as an employer being seen as an educator.
Tell me about the move away from the classroom-led style of education and to a more individually focused model with e-learning.
So this has been something that's been brought about particularly with the pandemic. Look at us all, if you've got children in the education sector, they've all had to be forced to really remote learn. So it has really changed the way that people view. We've also got our social media networks and tools that people are using that creates just-in-time learning. For the corporate world, when we're talking about the shifts that have happened, we've been participating in online learning for quite some time. But the changes have come through technology or technological advances, being able to use more of digital. And what we're seeing is that really learning is considered more of a journey. And that journey commences, like anything else, with the right content, making sure that that is really well designed and then deployed through a piece of technology that people can use and that's very flexible.
Sharon, you're also very, very passionate about learning. In your 27 years of building people, I mean, that's that word again, people that we always talk about, as well as business and brands, how important is learning for CEOs to be successful?
I think because as a leader, you're always looking at what's happening on the day-to-day and then what's next. Learning has to be an integral part of that. And Vicky and her organisation are the drivers in that, which has always been so interesting and fascinating to me. Creating those platforms where our people and we can learn so much better and more effectively.
Vicky, I'll turn back to you. How are you and Kineo making a difference when it comes to e-learning? What sort of programs are you running?
So when we talk about making a difference, one of the things we have to do is keep really up to date with technology, but also about learning styles. The sorts of programs and where we're differentiating ourselves at the moment is through the analytics. So simply, if you look at something like Google Analytics and how it's applied, with any piece of content or learning that happens within an organisation, it needs to meet a business objective. And the use of analytics allows our clients and organisations to really connect with how the content's being used, digested, the changes that it's having in behaviour, and then also being able to track that to a business need. So it's really the power of the data.
How do you help companies with their learning needs?
That varies. So every organisation would be considering a piece of learning based on a need. And one of the most fundamental things, and as a learning organisation ourselves, we all think we do it, but is really identifying that problem statement and what is the aspect of the learning or what's the deliverable that we're going to have at the end of it. So a lot of it comes down to identifying that really well first, and maybe challenging and questioning our clients to identify that. And then it's down to the content. How engaging can we make it? It's very similar to marketing. We have to write something that's very well articulated. We need to make sure that it's engaging, and from an experiential point of view, it fits the audience need. And then, of course, it comes down to the technology to deploy it again. And we can assist our clients through that whole journey. So if they don't have the ability to analyse the business need and their most suitable learning outcome, we can assist a client there. Then it might be about the creation of the content, and then it's about the deployment, and then measuring it through analytics.
How are people rallying behind e-learning? I mean, are governments seeing the benefit?
Governments have definitely seen the benefits. So we've got governments, organisations that are clients, but we've also seen the government, and especially again through the pandemic, be able to provide the educational sector as well as the corporate sector with guidelines. So they've created some really nice sort of hub spots where teachers in particular can attain information on how they can convert education into online, and they had to do that fairly quickly. We've had the Skills Summit just recently, and some outputs from that. Some of it has addressed sort of online learning needs, but more importantly, how learning can be made more accessible so that we can really address the skills gap that we've got in our nation at the moment. From a government standpoint, I think it varies depending on the state. It depends on organisations' ability to access funding that government might be providing, but it's also they're acting as an educator.
Sharon, how long have you known Vicky, and how has Taurus been able to support her in the quest for people, education and learning?
Vicky and I have known each other for, I think, just over 8 years. Vicky, it might even be coming up to 10.
Yeah, I think so.
And we met in a mutual quest to make sure that during a transition period at Vicky's work, that comms message and that leadership message played out. So it was an exciting journey. Vicky and I went on together, working on her personal brand, and she's always inspired me as a leader.
And Vicky, what's the potential for e-learning?
It's unlimited. E-learning by itself, we're learning constantly. We're learning through various mediums all the time. So I think it's a matter of learning more about people and how we deliver that message and the content to people. As human beings, we're constantly learning, and we need that again for our self-esteem, resilience, and as a human being. So unlimited.
Where can Kineo go next to meet the needs of both people and business?
So in relation to people, it's about a deeper understanding of how people learn, how they view content, digest it, all the emotions that are attributed to learning. From an organisational point of view, we also need to be looking at the technology and how we can use technology better and staying at the forefront of that. And with blended or online learning, we're looking at the market telling us that content needs to be delivered in an asynchronous way that allows people to consume it just in time, to consume the content that's going to meet the learning needs that they've got at that point in time. And whether it's with ourselves as Kineo and the talent that we've got within the organisation, or with our partners, that's how we're going to continue servicing the industries.
Thanks, Vicky Bartolacci. It's been great to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much, Amber, for your time and for yours, Sharon.
I'm Amber Sherlock. Sharon?
Thank you, Amber, for coming today. It's been lovely to have you on board. Vicky, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sharon.
If you would like to become part of the Taurus Network, contact us at the email address on the screen. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Sharon Williams.